everyone, and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Michelle Petrillo, and I am the Hospital Liaison for Centers Healthcare, covering Bannister Center, Kingston Center, and Oak Hill Center. The reason why I'm here today is because I'm missing my friends terribly at Rhode Island Hospital and Women and Infants during these trying COVID times. So I thought it may be fun to say hello and try and give back a little and share one of my favorite recipes just in time for Thanksgiving, an easy set it and forget it crock pot curry butternut squash soup recipe. There's going to be ingredient cards that will be sent out, so don't be afraid if you've missed the ingredients along the way in the video, but we'll be sending an actual recipe out to you. All right, so here we go. First, we're going to take our crock pot insert and make sure it's been sprayed with olive oil spray or some sort of non-stick spray. Next, we're going to take 2 pounds of butternut squash. It's prepared. I actually purchased it this way. I find it a little bit easier to do that than to actually have to prepare it myself. I'm going to pour that in. Next, I have 2 apples that have been diced, and I have a red apple and a green apple. I'm just going to pour those right in. 1 large yellow onion that's been diced. Make sure I get all the good stuff. 2 large carrots that have been peeled and chopped. You don't have to go crazy with chopping them small or anything like that. They're going to soften up over the 8 hours that they cook, so we'll be able to easily blend them, even though they're larger pieces. Next, we're going to take 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of salt. Now, if you're on a cardiac diet or a low sodium diet, you may want to avoid this or tweak it to your liking, maybe just a little bit. In this household, we tend to like salt a lot, which we probably shouldn't, but we do. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the full tablespoon. Next, I have a whole teaspoon of ground black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. You can avoid this altogether if you prefer not spicy. In fact, I would suggest it if you don't like things spicy. We love spice, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the full 1/4 teaspoon here. Next, 3 bay leaves. 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. 1 whole teaspoon of ground ginger, which I actually buy already prepared as well. I find it a little bit easier at the market to do that than to chop it up or grind it up myself. 4 cloves of minced garlic. 1 tablespoon of curry powder. And lastly, 3 cups of vegetable broth. Now, I prefer my soup a little more liquidy, so I like to actually use 3. If you prefer more of a thick butternut squash soup, I would suggest using 2. Pour that in. And not splatter it all over myself here. All right. Next, I'm gonna give it a little stir. Make sure we incorporate kind of everything in together, especially with all those nice spices and that brown sugar. Make sure it's not just sitting in one spot. It smells really good already. All right. Once I've given that a good mix, I'm actually gonna take this over and bring it to the actual crock pot base. Plug in my crock pot here. I'm going to set it to low, add the cover on, and we're going to set it for 8 hours. Now the best part about this soup is it's a set it and forget it. So when you go to work, you can come home, the house is going to smell amazing, and your soup will be done. If it cooks a little bit longer than 8 hours, because I know, especially when you're busy in the hospital, you guys work late hours, that's okay, because It's still gonna cook. It's okay if it cooks a little bit longer, say 9 hours instead of 8, 10 hours instead of 8. It's on low, so it's not gonna burn. All right, so we're gonna let this cook for about 8 hours and then we'll be back. See you soon. And here is the finished product of our crock pot curry butternut squash soup. And boy, does this house smell amazing. Once the soup had completed cooking in the crock pot, I removed the 3 bay leaves. You want to be really careful when you do that because it's extra hot. After I removed them, I took a half a cup of coconut milk. I just used canned unsweetened coconut milk and added it to the soup. Next, I took my immersion blender and made sure I blended it really, really well. You want it to be a super smooth consistency with no more chunks remaining. Let's see if I can tilt this and show you kind of the consistency. Smells so good. Next, I ladled it into my bowl. I added a dollop of coconut milk. Well, actually, it's more of the cream from the coconut milk, and added some fresh parsley on top. If you take a look, I swirled it to make it kind of have a pretty design to it, so it kind of looks aesthetically pleasing. And now it's ready to serve. Bon appetit. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Stay tuned because there's going to be a few more coming up, especially with the holiday season approaching. Stay well, everyone, and thank you for joining me today.